So today we're here for the third day of the 555 challenge, and today we're looking at the time tightness block. We're going to be exploring conversations around this block today. And in case you are not familiar with why we're here and what we're doing, well, we are at the 555 challenge where we are breaking free from 5 fears in just 5 days. And those 5 fears really are revolving around 5 mindset type blocks that we all experience. Now, some might come up more heavily than others. And if you haven't taken the quiz already, guys, what you waiting for? If you haven't gotten it from one of us, please put into the comment section quiz, and we'll send you the quiz so you can take the quiz so you can find out what your mindset type block is and what the more dominant one is. And let me introduce myself. I'm Gilly Henson. Nice to meet you. If you haven't met already, it's a pleasure to be here with you. It's a pleasure to be here with my fellow coaches, Mielle Fox, Bob Nesbitt, and soon to join us, Kathy Claver, and all of our friends and support and teammates and mentor in the comments section. We are grateful that you're here, and everyone who's present on the replays. Thank you for sharing energy with us. We're so excited to be bringing this forward for you. Now, we are all certified whole wellness coaches, and in this space, we've been gifted an opportunity from Lita Sportel to share in our experiences, tips, exercises, inspirational stories, nuggets of insight and information to help you break free from these 5 mindset type blocks. And Lita Sportel has graciously given us a space to do so. And if you haven't met Lita yet, definitely friend her on Facebook. Say hello to her. Her name's Lita Sportel. She's in the comment section. I know it. And get to know her. She's a beautiful soul, and she's the reason why we're all here today and why we're able to do the things that we are doing with you here today. Because by golly, I don't know if any of us had in the forefronts of our mind that we would be here presenting live on Facebook some of our greatest challenges that we've experienced. I don't think I would have had that courage a couple years ago, not at all. So thank you, Lita Sportel, for opening up the space for us. And we are grateful to be here. Again, my name is Gilly Henson. I am a certified whole wellness coach and mentor to new whole wellness coaches. What my goal is and what I love to do and what I get to do is work with open-hearted and sensitive individuals, empaths, help them to get out of the grip of the overthinking mind and really center into their hearts, develop their intuition, and live a more purposeful and harmonious life where they're aligned with their actions and their heart and their mind are aligned. And you're going to hear a lot of that tonight, guys, because that's what we do as whole wellness coaches. And all of us have our own unique gifts in this. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce and bring forward again, second time up, Bob Nesbitt to share in his understanding of the time tightness block and get us going tonight. Thank you, Bob.
Yes, thank you so much, Gilly. It's always a pleasure. Oh yeah, such a warm welcome back. So thank you. And also a warm welcome back to this 3-day challenge, or day 3 of the challenge, right, everybody? And I'm honored to be here to share with you my journey and experience and tips as a whole wellness coach, as it has really, transformed my life in so many different ways. And that's what I want for you too as well. So thank you for saying yes to yourself and showing up, because I know there are probably many other places that you could probably be at this time. But so I appreciate you showing up for yourself here. Again, thank you for bringing your energy into this space. And for those who don't know me, my name is Bob Nesbitt, as Gilly had just introduced me, but I'm a whole wellness coach and a functional medicine practitioner. And I empower middle-aged men by letting them know who they really are and how powerful they can be by manifesting the infinite possibilities available to them. And I help them move forward by using a holistic, client-centered, trauma-informed, and empowerment-based approach. So this helps them to go within and tap into their own inner light so that they can show up and be the best versions of themselves and be their own badass self-healers, right? So tonight I'll be talking about the time tightness block, and I really felt this block back when I was involved in running my own auto repair business many years ago and coaching Little League and competitive baseball teams And I'm going to talk a little bit about that and share some insights and tips with you here today. So for me, this time tightness block, along with having the perfectionism block, was one of my main two to overcome. The money block was also another one. I'll be on Friday about that as well. But I'll just say that the time crunch thing just added even more overwhelm, anxiety, low self-esteem, not feeling worthy, and just not feeling enough, all the time. And how this really impacted my nervous system and resulting health issues that followed. I was always putting extreme amounts of pressure on myself, just, and just not, getting things done, but also being perfect. And in the beginning, I enjoyed being a business owner and being active in the community, coaching baseball teams and whatnot. But my pace and attitude towards everything was not sustainable. But being young and feeling invincible, I didn't think twice about it, as this was just, how life is. Keep your head down, work hard, push through it with any disregard of your own well-being. So it wasn't long before my life started to unravel. And I recall trying to, this is maybe too much information, but I recall trying to regulate my body to only have morning bowel movements prior to going to work, as I didn't want to take the time to do it later on in the day. Oh, and then the endless times my bladder was really ready to burst, as I was always getting sidetracked or too busy to take the time. As such, I would often find myself not drinking much water, thus leading to dehydration and, constipation issues. So, also my lunch breaks would be more like 15 to 20 minutes, and usually at my desk or while I worked, right? So much for that whole rest and digest philosophy, right? So, after a full day of push, go, push, I had nothing left to give to the family when I got home, which was be often late into the evenings many times. And at times it was really after midnight. So where an overwarmed meal would be waiting for me, and I would, quickly consume that without proper chewing, mindfulness, and whatever else goes with that. And as I needed to get to bed and just to do it all over again in a few hours. So talk about a roadmap for disaster, but I was determined to make it work, keep my head down and push through it. But I definitely needed a better way, but, never considered that one even existed, as I would see, many others doing practically the same thing. And, I just accepted this as, well, that's just the way it is. I eventually started to resent everything when I saw year after year that I was on this merry-go-round and always ended up in the same place, with very little to show for my hard work and efforts. My body started to shut down, and I ignored the signs, as I didn't even know that these were even signs to start with. So, and I figured symptoms of fatigue would, pass, just like, you would catch a little flu or something. But, I figured if I would maybe train myself a little harder to handle it, much like going to the gym, work hard and get results. But just like in the gym, you do need the rest to recover. But no, I didn't do that. There was no downtime. No, I had no downtime. And any time I did have was spent on responsibilities and commitments at home. So you can tell, I was drained physically, mentally, and emotionally. I had turned that off, as it wasn't serving my goals, and it just had no place in my life. I became numb to my emotions, and this eventually turned into anhedonia. And this is where you lose interest in the things that you normally have pleasure in, and you start to withdraw from social interactions. Now, also, somebody could tell me something like, hey, you just won $10,000. And I would be like, yeah, right, whatever, just numbed out to everything. No highs, no lows, let's just get things done, right? Just numbed it all out. I couldn't even listen to music that I loved anymore, as my mind blocked off and I couldn't handle the bandwidth. I just started going through protocols after protocols, and developed this shiny nickel syndrome in search for answers, and many times not even finishing them at all, because I found myself doing so many things that I would just lose track and even wonder why I started it in the first place. I didn't know if any of this was helping. I was overwhelmed, desperate, and I was going nowhere fast. Stuck in a ditch, pedal to the metal, spinning my wheels. So, type in spinning if you can relate to any of that. So I could go on and on with other symptoms and conditions, but with the respect for time here, I think you get the idea. I was beyond burned out, unhappy, and stuck in a cycle. And I stopped doing the things that brought joy into my life. And I mentioned this in my last talk and about how the nervous system can take these hits and how our psychology affects our biology. And once you get into these types of patterns, they become part of your neurology. So it's important to develop awareness of what is happening and take appropriate action in making changes. And being gentle and forgiving to yourself along the way helps in calming that nervous system. So all said, I find it interesting that procrastination comes in here too. And that procrastination isn't always a time management issue. It can really mostly more of an emotional regulation issue. And we tend to delay those activities that we don't really enjoy or make us feel good. So I would often find myself doing things that made me feel safe and, well, kept me just stuck in that comfort zone. So that was my life. Now, what would one do about that? Well, being aware of our actions and our thoughts is the first step. And change your environment, as you cannot change or heal in the same environment that got you there in the first place. Now, and one thing I figured out later is that I'm an empath, and I could feel everyone's energy, and this would just drain me. Didn't really understand that at the time, but so this includes your circle of friends and to evaluate how those relationships are serving you. So then I recall having our family events or a to-do list written on a calendar, up on the wall, right? And people would come over and people would remark how insane it was having every day filled out with nothing scheduled in for ourselves. And they would have nothing to do with that. They were just like, oh my gosh, that doesn't fit into our schedule at all. And I thought, oh, geez, how selfish. And well, what else is there? So I didn't get it at the time, but I get it now in that the difference of a to-do list comprised for others versus a prioritized schedule that involves balance of family, work, and play. So I needed to ditch that old to-do list and create a schedule that involves time for my own well-being, adding more joy into my life that would additionally include feeling my life's passion and purpose in an environment that would be conducive to make that happen. So bringing in joy and self-care can be simple, small things and don't need to be huge things. So, get back to listening to your favorite music and or going out on a walk, doing some breath work, going to a movie, walking in nature, or even maybe making a date night out of it sometime, right? Remember those date nights that we used to have? So anyways, small steps, even if it only takes a few minutes, sprinkle it out throughout your day, thinking of it as magical pixie dust, and set reminders if you need to. But here's the key. Do it with belief and focused intention, and not something that you just check off your list and say, well, it's done. I completed that, right? So be really present with it during those few minutes that you do take. And if it is a date night, be fully present and appreciate that time and disconnect from mobile, all the mobile devices. Which actually, that brings up another thing. Scrolling social media is an addictive and habit-forming, reaching for that dopamine hit just plays havoc with your nervous system. So learn to reel that in, pun intended, reels, right? Okay, so also start delegating out those tasks that somebody else can probably do and accept the fact that at times It may not be done the way you want it. Let go of the control. Start being more aware of what is really important and what can wait, and where to put your priorities. So a theme that you'll hear over and over again from us here is pause, awareness, and gentleness. So pause and awareness are pretty straightforward. At least for me, I kind of understand it going through Break Free Mind. But for me, the main toughest part for me was the gentleness. That still is something I continue to work on, to cultivate more into my life, as I have many deep entrenched beliefs which have been etched into my subconscious over the years, which are always looking for reinforcement, right? The little guy on my shoulder there speaking to me. So this is where Break Free Mind really excelled and helped me tremendously in recognizing and unraveling these belief systems by being aware, willing, and consistent in my efforts, as well as just well-being, that non-judgmental observer. So what I found is how important it is to take time to get to know what is really important, what brings me joy, and what I am passionate about and fulfills my purpose. And just getting clear on that helps me focus with what I use my energy for and spend my time on. So really just getting really clear on what fuels my soul, lights me up to where I'm excited to wake up and take on the day, and feeling blessed and having gratitude helps in moving any stuck negative energy that I might have. So in summary, I'll say that for me, it was about putting myself first, and that it's not actually selfish to do that, right? And prioritizing what is truly important in my life. And it can often be more about removing things than adding. And then we create, or I've created, what's called the power of 6. It's a list where you list out 6 main goals and tasks you want to accomplish for the day. And if you don't finish or get to them all, that's okay. You just carry those over to your new power of 6 list for the next day without judgment. Now, sure, you'll have long-term goals as well as short-term daily tasks to help achieve those long-term goals. And it's important to write it all down on a daily basis. Pen to paper, it's important. Write it down. Now, in being true to myself when talking about time, I can't help but reflecting on the amount of time I have left to share my truths with the world, and thinking about the decades of my life that have gone by, and I wish I understood earlier more about these things, as it would have made my life much more pleasant, rewarding, and abundant. That life that I had, or I wish I had more of, but I suppose it's all part of divine timing, and to be grateful for what time I do have left. But still, it hurts at times. Maybe you have heard of the song "Landslide" by Stevie Nicks. You know, yeah. That's it. Changing. Because I built my life around my ego. But times make you bolder, and even children get older. And I'm getting older too. I'm getting older too. And take my ego, take it down. Climb a mountain and turn around. Be grateful for what you have found. So that's my take on my tips. I hope you found this time tightness segment helpful. So in wrapping up here, I want to thank Gilly, Lita, for guiding us here, and the rest of my team members, and helping us become the whole wellness coaches that we are. And are really giving people a place that make us feel like we're just not alone, right? So I do have an upcoming Break Free Mind course that I'm going to be starting soon, and I'd love for you all to join. And also, I also offer one-on-one coaching too, if you want to connect that way as well. I believe others here may have something coming up as well too. And, you know, we all have solutions that we want to be able to offer you that you can break free from. And if you don't know what we're talking about, please reach out. And I would love to connect with you guys if you're interested. So again, just please reach out. The best way is probably just through Messenger. And I'm excited to connect with you, or maybe you might resonate with one of the other beautiful souls here. Thank you. And that's what I'm going to hand it back to my partner here, Gilly, and with much love and light and joy to you all. Truth is your essence. Sat Nam.
Nam, Bob, thank you so much. Wow, that was deeply touching. You definitely brought tears to my eyes. I am certain you brought tears to others' eyes, and in that deep sense of gratitude and just feeling into the strength behind your words and your vulnerability and sharing a bit about what you're moving through and bringing it to a song that I know we all love. We all love. It was very touching, and I'm still kind of recovering from that moment there. But I do want to share with you here in the comments section. Rosalie said, fabulous rendition. Wow. And thank you so much. Bula said, Michelle, awesome. Bob, thank you for sharing your beautiful message. And there was other really nice comments here. And what I'm seeing and experiencing from you tonight is the purity of your divine masculine coming forth and sharing that as a male in this world, you can have this connection to source, connection to your heart, and be in tune with your heart, and that be accepted and loved, and to feel safe in that. So thank you for being that example here tonight, and for sharing everything you said. Lots of magical pixie dust you just shared with all of us. Beautifully stated. And yes, Bob, I'm so glad you mentioned that you have you're starting a group soon, because your knowledge is very vast, especially in health and functional health, and the body, and how you've really come to bring the emotional mastery into that conversation and the quantum possibilities of health and healing and what that looks like. We got a tidbit of that information here tonight as you were expressing a bit about the nervous system, the neural pathways, and the subconscious. So I'm excited to hear from you more at this challenge and to go even further in that. So if you guys are not already friends with Bob, I know he shares things inside his personal profile page, all about his wisdom and his teachings and what calls to him and what's helped him on his path. So definitely friend Bob if you haven't already. I know you'll love what he puts forward. And I just want to also say thank you for the power of 6 and that suggestion there. And can that one of those things in the power of 6 be joy? Can joy be on the top of that list? You guys, if anything that we've taken away from this evening, it's how am I allowing myself to be supported? And do I have to do it all on my own? And can I be in a state of receptivity and receive help, receive guidance, receive support from our loved ones, and to let the control of how it might need to look, let that go. It's the same for source, universal energy. It's going to bring to you what it views as in your highest and best. Sometimes we have a very limited scope of what is in our highest and best. So as we open up and we surrender to the flow, we receive something better than we could ever imagine. That's day 3, guys. Accomplished. You guys are doing such an awesome job. Everyone who's joined in. Day 3, day 4 is coming up tomorrow. That's the body burden block. I see Bob raising the roof over there. Whoop, whoop. You guys can't see him on your end, but I can, and Kathy as well. And we'll be bringing you more insights, more tips, more stories, more heart in the next day. So we can't wait to see you then. Looking forward to it. All right, gorgeous souls. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for a beautiful evening. Stay in your presence and be in love. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.